actually.
Okay.
You wore something dark. I'm the one who wore something light today. Plus, I'm winded. I'm out of shape, man. Super out of shape. Running to get in here on time. Oh, since we're talking about Buffalo today, did I tell you what I saw? I didn't tell you what I saw on the way up to Annapolis.
No.
I saw an SUV with an NC State bumper sticker.
Oh, no.
And a Buffalo Bills sticker. And I thought to myself,
we need to find those people. We need to get them some.
It's one of those classic, like, why did you choose this life? Or did that life choose you? Did that life choose you? Because, man, as I joke with Kelly, I'm like, that person's seen some things. I mean, let's think about this.
Same, that Browns were losing last week, and I had tweeted out, Cleveland ain't for soft people. And
right.
They were like telling me about a State fan and a Browns fan. I'm like, oh, man.
Whoa.
That hurts.
Whoa. Hold up.
That really hurts. At least Buffalo went to the Super Bowl.
Browns Wolfpack fan?
Yeah.
Who is this person?
I'm sure I can find it on my timeline.
Can we get them on? Because I have questions now. How are you a Browns State person and like not a Browns Ohio State? Or
there's a lot of people from Ohio who come down
here. But typically they hold allegiances to like the Buckeyes or something. Or like my guy Russell the Love Muscle. He's riding hard for BGSU, man. Bowling Green, baby.
Oh, Russ Henry's a big Bowling Green fan?
No, he went to Bowling Green.
Oh.
He attended Bowling Green.
Got you.
It's funny, when I had to do the roadie to Detroit, I actually drove through Bowling Green, and I had never been up that way. So I texted Russ, and I was like, so that's where you partied? No wonder, because there's like nothing there. He goes, yeah, man. It's just people came to us to party. There's just nothing to do. And it's got a really good tailgate setup, too. Like, it's like a Carter Finley-like setup around the football stadium. It's a tiny football stadium. Bunch of fields, man. Get your party on, right?
Fields. Got you.
Fields, right. It's all about fields. Anyway. Wow, people are already making comments about DJ Horn. Jeez. We'll talk about it. A lot of people with opinions on DJ Horn. All right, you ready?
A lot of people. Yeah, let's not start the show that way. Let's go.
No. We'll warm up. I'm gonna wait for your Trulies to kick in.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios, downtown Raleigh. Big thanks to Empire Properties. And, of course, big thanks to Sleek Fleet, sleek-fleet.com. It's Thursday. It's just past 2 o'clock. That means it is OG Live. Thanks to Sleek Fleet. Sleek Fleet is not your typical rideshare. This is some real baller stuff. You want to go to a game in style. You need to pack a bunch of people to go to the airport. We got spring breaks coming up. You're already thinking about spring break planning, right? You got that big trip coming up. You're going to the airport. What do you need, Joe? Transportation.
Maybe you're like my man Chung Yeezy. Hey, what was the number for Sleek Fleet? How did I get in touch with Sleek Fleet? Sleek-fleet.com.
Mm-hmm.
He needed a party bus to get 8 fans to the state game.
See?
I was like,
perfect.
I
actually saw the Yeezy.
Appreciate you for not only listening to the podcast.
Love that.
But going Costanza. Sleek-fleet.com. I've got the I'm actually gonna go see Journey. Are you gonna go to the Journey show at PNC Arena?
No.
James Vito, but
I'm gonna stop. I'm actually boycotting Journey until they bring Steve Perry
back. Well, he's got anxiety and he doesn't perform anymore. So
I get that. I hope he works through it.
Jessica and I are going.
Okay.
And we'll be using Sleek Fleet. Our friend Joe Wagstaff has an anniversary coming up next week.
Okay.
And he's like, hey, I want to go to the Angus Barn. I said, yes. Go to sleek-fleet.com. Tyler will take care of you.
All right. I love it. I absolutely love it. Zach already on the comment section. Cleveland is not for soft people. Browns fan here. Yeah, no, we understand that. We actually understand that. I guess Jeremy Markovich, NC Rabbit Hole, is watching. Oh, God, Bowling Green. I feel
now, there are 2 different Bowling Greens.
There's several Bowling Greens, but I'm talking about the Bowling Green.
Oh.
BGSU, or Bowling Green State University, right? Isn't that what it is? Anyway, we have a lot of stuff coming on. In about 25 minutes, Lauren Brownlow is going to hang out. We're going to talk some ACC hoops. That's when all of the ACC hoops conversation will take place.
We also have a late addition to the card.
We do. Do you want to surprise people or do you want to tell people who it is?
I will just say he's an ACC champion.
Oh, I like what you did there. I like what you did there. Speaking of champions, it is the divisional round, which means NFL teams are going to be playing for the rights to go compete, to be conference champs. So you know what we haven't done in a while, Joe?
Hit the button.
We have not done premature evaluations in a hot minute. We're going to do this in order, which means we save the best for last. Let's start with Houston and Baltimore. The Ravens are favored, -9. Do you like that?
Huge test for the Ravens in this sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you are the favorite and you are the one that is expected to go to the Super Bowl, you have to get out of the gate. That's the one that they could be tripped up on. We've seen Lamar in the playoffs 3 times. First 2 times, and in the 2018 season, they lose their first game. Second time in 2019, when they had the best record in the NFL, just like this year, they lost to Tennessee as the number 1 overall seed with the best record in the NFL. Got to get out of the gate. 1-3 in his career in the playoffs. The pressure is on Lamar in this game, and we'll see how the Ravens respond.
Well, the funny thing is, I feel like the Ravens are actually built for this moment because they've been dealing with a variety of injuries. At last check, I'm pretty sure this is probably the healthiest the Ravens have been with Lamar Jackson at this point.
Yeah, for sure. But they're also Mark Andrews, their outstanding tight end. You know,
that's right. The healthiest they've
that he
been.
could.
Everybody's dealing with injuries. But remember, the Ravens' seasons have always fallen apart for a variety of reasons. Sometimes Lamar Jackson himself is not 100%. And you know, with the contract, remember the contract dispute, it was a matter of why am I even playing if I don't have my contract and I'm dealing with this stuff. There was speculation that he wasn't going to play. So last time these two teams played was actually the beginning of the year where it was 25-9. Ravens won that game. But of course, this is not week 1 Houston, as we've seen with CJ Stroud coming up. I think the math. And
they're a complete and total house money team.
Yes.
Now, the way that they won last week, you're probably not going to duplicate getting 2 pick sixes in the third quarter of the football game.
No.
But CJ Stroud was outstanding and is playing loose and free in this game.
I think that's the reason why I'm not really. The math is not mathing for me when it comes to Houston advancing for a variety of reasons. One is not to continue to make this like a oddly bashing Ohio fest and the Cleveland Browns, but the Flacco-sance was going to come to a close. As people correctly pointed out, it's one thing when Joe Flacco is a feel-good story and you talk about house money. Flacco was literally playing with house money. His career was done, man. Anything that he did was gravy to the is Joe Flacco elite conversation, right? And
silliness.
It was interesting that once they actually got there and there was pressure and people were like, oh my goodness, what happens? Remember when I clowned ESPN radio for having a discussion, if Joe Flacco gets to a Super Bowl, is he a Hall of Famer? We're like, we're getting way advanced on this, aren't we? I felt like Houston simply took advantage of a team that buckled under that pressure. I don't see the Baltimore Ravens doing this. I don't see the Baltimore Ravens offense imploding the way it was eventually going to happen with Joe Flacco and the Cleveland Browns. And the Ravens are way too deep and too talented, even with some of the injuries, for them to have that happen to them. I feel like the Houston Texans getting to the playoffs, number 1, and winning a game is like, all right, season is done. We will be the hot, trendy team in the same way that the Green Bay Packers will be a hot, trendy team. So for the record, who do you have?
I have the Ravens winning this game. I do not have them covering.
Not covering. Got it. Now, I mentioned the Packers. They're at San Francisco. First the line, the Niners, -9.5.
I believe the Niners will be the one that unleash the fury and cover the number.
I see. Gotcha. The Packers and the Texans are very similar in that they have surprised people in how they've closed out the season, and a lot of excitements around the quarterbacks. You know, CJ Stroud is doing things that nobody expected. I mean, beyond the expectations for a rookie, and some people have labeled him the best rookie season they've seen in a long time. Meanwhile,
statistically, CJ Stroud had the best rookie season ever.
Now, with Jordan Love, it's the argument for, hey, you know, maybe if you let quarterbacks mature a little bit and just don't throw them out the minute there's some adversity.
Don't throw the puppy in the ocean.
It might pay off for you, right? And that's certainly been the case with the Packers down the stretch. The Packers offense has been cooking because Love has been locked in. I think thanks to, he's no longer at Football Outsiders. I think it's like FTN, Aaron Schatz and his DVOA. Offensively, they're 6th right now. But the key here is that San Francisco's defense is a little bit different, and that's ultimately going to be the difference maker. It's San Francisco's defense being locked in, healthy, offense is healthy. I think the Packers are, again, much like the Texans, one of those super trendy teams for people to like next year, and the hype ends this weekend.
Jordan Love has been playing out of his mind. 21 touchdowns, only 1 interception in the past 9 games. He's also completing 70% of his passes. The game is coming really easy to him right now, and I think you have to give LaFleur credit for what he's done. There was a lot of talk about, well, it was Aaron Rodgers. Well, it was Nathaniel Hackett. Well, it wasn't him. This is nice work by the Packers. Despite throwing me off the scent by losing to Tommy DeVito and the Giants, by throwing me off the scent, they've been outstanding. Now, they just poured it out. How many times do I have to tell you? You always go against the team after they poured it out. They didn't get any picks. Well, they had 1 pick 6 against the Cowboys, but they simply just put it on the Cowboys. It's difficult to duplicate an effort like that. I like arrested San Francisco. I like Christian McCaffrey in a similar situation to Lamar Jackson, but he doesn't play quarterback. But there are a lot of people saying, okay, well, if you're the MVP and you're one of these all-timers, you have to prove it in the postseason.
Let's go back to the previous matchup, the Ravens and the Texans. Lamar Jackson and how he has played this season, especially down the stretch where they've been beating good teams, by the way. Good
schedule's been unbelievable.
Let's throw out like the end of the season slog, and especially that last game against Pittsburgh, and nobody played, and it was terrible weather and everything else. Lamar Jackson's been playing on another level. He's probably established himself as the MVP. People have a very, very hard time giving a key weapon like San Francisco with Christian McCaffrey a legitimate shot at winning the MVP. I don't like how the MVP conversations have been boiled down to who is the quarterback on the team that wins a bunch. And I think this is the year where we finally saw the game for what it is and how basic this conversation is. And it's all around Brock Purdy. Again, I admit that I have an issue. I have a problem. The first step to admitting you have a problem, the first step to, acknowledging you have the problem is admitting you have said problem. And I spend way too much time engaging with national sports talk. And I think I want to say I dabbled with a little Pat McAfee the other day. And it was this conversation about Jordan Love and Brock Purdy and who's out dueling who. And I thought to myself, these are not the same guys.
No.
Stop it. And what's funny is people keep propping up Brock Purdy because he's putting up a bunch of stats. But that tells me that you're not quite paying attention to the stats, because Brock Purdy is getting these kind of numbers because of the weapons that he has. The San Francisco 49ers dominate in the league when it comes to yard after catch. Brock Purdy's actually, I think he's 20th. I think he ranks 20th right now in pass attempts. Think about that. He is managing to be ahead of just about everybody in every statistical category, like yards, touch, blah, 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 blah. But he's done it on fewer passes because the San Francisco 49ers have dudes like Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, who can get these big yards, these big chunk yards. So this is not about Brock Purdy out-dueling Jordan Love. This is about Brock Purdy doing a very good job of being within Kyle Shanahan's system that produces this stuff when everybody is healthy. Remember in the middle of the season when guys were hurt and all of a sudden, Brock Purdy turned back into Brock Purdy?
Oh,
wow, look at that. He doesn't have every weapon with him. But I'm not bringing this up as a knock. I'm simply pointing out that the San Francisco 49ers have everything going for them. So they should be able to take care of business,
including losing the most dangerous teams in their bracket.
Yes.
Getting knocked out in Dallas and Philly.
Yeah, absolutely with you on that one. So we're both in agreement, the San Francisco 49ers?
I got the Niners and they cover.
All right. Bucks, Lions. I don't care. This is the best matchup. I just don't care. All these are your typical teams. Okay, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Detroit Lions. Baker Mayfield is the Jared Goff, angle, the arc that he was, the scrap heap quarterback, and he ends up in Detroit. They believe in him, and it's repaid with this. I love this. This is a completely left field matchup in the division.
Yeah, remember, it was you can have an extra first round pick, but you have to take the quarterback too.
Yeah, yeah.
In the trade from the Rams to the Lions.
Lions are -6.5, -6.5.
I think that number's too big. Games inside controlled environment, but the Bucks have been kind of up and down the stretch. They've burned me a couple of times. I don't think they're a particularly great team. I think the Lions win this game, but I just, when in doubt, take the points.
I want the Lions to win. And the reason why I want the Lions to win isn't for our guy, Dan Campbell, and all the, I'm going to rip your kneecaps off and we're going to chew up your cartilage and spit it back out at you and things like that. I want the Lions to win because we would be on deck for an incredible cultural showdown in the Super Bowl where you have all of Detroit. This is what I want. I want a Detroit, Kansas City Super Bowl now because
you cannot quit the Chiefs.
No, I'll explain why. Like I said, we saved the best for last.
Okay.
The last game of the divisional round on Sunday night. The reason why I want the Lions and the Chiefs to play in the Super Bowl is because think about it. You're going to have all the Taylor Swift stuff with KC, right? Just be there. The boyfriend, are they going to get engaged? All that stuff. And on the Detroit side, they're bringing out all the heavy hitters. Eminem. I'm sure Kid Rock will make an appearance. I think Big Sean made an appearance. Like, I don't know,
can Bob Seger be there?
Is Bob Seger still with us?
Pretty sure.
Hold on.
Don't scare me.
Hold on a second. Where's Bob Seger these days? We got tonight. He is 78 years old.
Come on.
78 years old. I want him out there talking about night moves. I want him out there talking about old time rock and roll. That's what I need. I need all the Detroit heavies.
Sweet 16, turn 31.
And then I need all the Taylor Swift stuff because you have the hardened Detroit people and then all the Swifties who have come along with Kansas City. And I also need Kansas City to get to the Super Bowl because I need more old men to just talk in such a way that is embarrassing. I need more, I can't remember the old, Tony Dungy saying, I don't know, I think all this Taylor Swift stuff has led to NFL fans being disenchanted with the product.
Best to get that out now before Lauren gets here. And you don't need to do that to her because we've already.
I know. I want to tell Tony something really quick. Ratings are up. And when she's there, ratings are up. Everything is up. There's no disenfranchisement when it comes to NFL fans. So please stop trying for the cheap clicks.
I move on. Hopefully I didn't blow people's speakers out by doing that. And we get to the final game. Kansas City. Buffalo Bills. The Bills at home, finally. They finally get their home game, Joe. This is what they've been waiting for. And it gets them -2.5 at home. What you got?
I thought it was over.
Oh, no. No.
When I thought it was over,
stop.
I did some homework. As you know, the Bills and Chiefs, this will complete the trilogy of their playoff matchups. The 2020 season, Kansas City hosts the Bills, beats them relatively easy, 38-24. 2021 season, they play an epic game at Arrowhead that the Chiefs win in overtime. You'll remember they go 44 yards in 13 seconds. They win the game in overtime. Josh Allen had a Picasso of a performance, but it was all for naught because it was 42-36 Chiefs. I'm going to hold this up. I don't know if it's going to show up or not.
It should. The camera should adjust. If it doesn't, then it gives me an excuse to go get new cameras. There it is. It's in focus now. What do I see? I see in red. I see
the numbers are in red.
Yeah.
In these two games, the playoff games for Tariq the Cheetah Hill, 11 catches, 172 yards. That was one game. The game of 21, the all-timer, 11 catches, 150 and a TD. So in two playoff games, won by the Chiefs, 22 freaking catches. 22 catches.
Yeah.
So Tariq not playing for the Chiefs in this game.
Yeah.
Give me the Bills. Give me the Mafia. Give me the dildos on the field. The Bills are going to the AFC Championship game.
Okay, so you do recognize that the Kansas City Chiefs are a completely different team and have been winning as a completely different team.
No, it's all about Tariq Hill. I got to get back on my horse.
You lost this argument because you're a stubborn SOB. You have decided I'm going to rekindle this argument that I lost. No. What? It's like in Call of Duty. Back when I used to play Call of Duty.
No, it really was Tariq.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I think there's like a buff that you could get that you unlock where it's called like Last Stand. It's like, you killed me, but I just dropped this grenade. Maybe it'll get you. So Tyreek and the Kansas City Chiefs finally just put you to bed with this ridiculousness about Tyreek Hill, but you just left a grenade like, aha! No, I got the stat.
Told you I was right.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. This is going to be another ball control game. And that's how the Kansas City Chiefs have been winning. And I do think this is my kind of game because it's all about what stupidity will ultimately be your team's undoing. Okay?
You have been calling this shot.
You get all into numbers. You look at these stats, whatever. That's your thing, man. You got your yellow pad. I respect that. But see, I have advanced degrees in stupidity. And what I find fascinating about sporting events sometimes is in a matchup.
Why do you have to overthink it?
Why are we overthinking? And which team has more of a likely chance, more opportunities to go, brain fart than the other? Which is the team that will have a moment more so than the other team, right? So what this ultimately comes down to,
you're saying Bill Belichick.
This is what it's coming down to.
Yeah,
meaning,
let the other team lose. You don't have to win.
Will Josh Allen do all the Josh Allen things, just like he did in Week 18, which they beat the Dolphins, but he also had 3 turnovers in that game. But the Dolphins, as we know, are the Dolphins are. We've discussed the Dolphins enough. Or will Kansas City's wide receivers do all the things that the Kansas City Chief wide receivers have been doing?
I have this for you, right? Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Karma is a tight end on the Chiefs.
This is true.
No, Taylor. Karma is the spoiled Chiefs quarterback bitching in real time to Josh Allen about a correct penalty call on the field in the height of lack of awareness. That is what's karma. And Josh Allen, he's at home. Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Yeah.
He has got the revenge. He's got this thing circled in a red marker. Don't trust anyone who uses a red marker.
So I think Ryan in the YouTube comment section puts it well when it comes to the Lions. The Lions didn't have a winning record with Barry Sanders setting records. You're right. And then he continued, wanting the Lions to win has never done anyone any good, right? The same could be said about the Buffalo Bills, or really anything Buffalo related. And this is what I'm curious about. And this is another matter too. You bring up the Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Let the other team make the mistakes.
We don't have to win. Just let the other team lose.
Kansas City, actually, I'm going to put it in a context that you can get with.
Wait a second. I just used a Taylor Swift karma thing like that. I thought that was pretty good.
It was good. I commend you on that. But I'm actually going to use one of your favorite analogies. In fact, you had this conversation with Steve Forbes on Monday. You brought up
I don't like it when you do this to me.
You brought up the whole Gary Williams death rules.
The death rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like basically the premise being if your life was on the line and you needed a coach, like, okay, you need a coach to win you a basketball game. Who are you picking? Right. Now, I thought Steve Forbes' answer was interesting. He said Bill Self.
I know.
And you were like,
and I'm like, well, I wanted to fight over that.
You did want to fight over that. So would you rather, in a game of super consequence,
Andy Reid,
would you rather put your money on Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes or Sean McDermott and Josh Allen show? What would you rather do?
I'm gonna plead the fifth.
Yeah.
As to not self-incriminate myself.
Exactly. Here, all jokes aside, here is why I think it's interesting that there's a couple things going on here. I understand the desire for Buffalo to succeed. They're fun. Yeah. They have people that set card tables on fire and jump from their RVs onto
the
snow. In the
banks.
snow.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, I saw that one. It's just all sorts of ridiculousness regarding Buffalo fans. And in our area, too, where we live,
we have an infiltration.
There's so many Buffalo fans. Yes. You can go to Wegmans. I see Josh Allen's face all the time on the Josh Jacks and all this other stuff. However,
it doesn't feel like enough pain yet, though, right?
Meaning what?
Like it almost feels like they have to win this one
No.
and then lose to Lamar?
No,
Because that would be the real, like,
No,
we finally got over Kansas City.
The reason why it's going to be painful, thank you for bringing that up. The reason why I think it's going to be painful is because they finally got their home game against the Chiefs.
Oh, you're right. Both of those games were at Arrowhead.
They got their home game against the Chiefs. They look at the Chiefs and they think, you're not the Tyreek Hill fly-in. We can score on you in 13 seconds. This is a real simple ball-controlled defense. I got Patrick Mahomes' Chiefs teams that's winning differently. And one thing that I will always commend, the one thing that I will always salute Andy Reid and what they got going on with Patrick Mahomes, you are coaching the team you have, not the team that you want. And once the Chiefs,
big Mike Krzyzewski energy there.
Once the Chiefs figured that out, you've seen the turnaround. We don't got to win pretty. We don't got to win with the craziness. We can just win with ball control. I think that ultimately is going to be the difference with the Bills and why I have the Chiefs winning this game and ultimately getting to the Super Bowl again against our Lions. From Robert, Giglio give you that double down energy.
When I have to.
Can we call this Giglio's folly?
I told you I was ready to give up on this, and then those pesky numbers.
Ovies is to picking the Bills as Catherine Zeta-Jones is to dodging lasers. Fantastic reference. I never saw that movie with Catherine Zeta-Jones. I don't feel like I needed to, given you just saw the important parts in the preview. Oh, and then Kelly Fitzgerald. There it is, classic mixer cup. What were you holding up? Yes, Ken brought that in along with that Carolina Fever cup that I got going on back there as well. All right, that is our premature evaluations.
Were those supposed to be like snappy, or are we okay with?
That's fine.
26 minutes of evaluation.
Have we gone 26 minutes?
That's what the clock says.
Oh boy, we should probably move on, shouldn't we?
Housekeeping.
Probably an ad in there somewhere.
Yeah, probably. A lot of housekeeping to get to, actually, now that I mention it. Donations. We've
noticed the uptick in donations the last couple of days.
Yeah, no, appreciate everybody who has donated us money. Well, what did I tell you?
Interesting.
No, you know what don't. I'm going to bring up my own stats. You know what the direct correlation is to people donating? You know what the direct correlation is?
What is it?
We're telling people it exists.
Oh, you're saying that everyone knew about it before.
Yes.
And the 38 steps that they had to go through to find it.
No, it had nothing to do. No, it had nothing to do with that.
Scroll down to the bottom of the Apple Podcast.
Had nothing to do with that. It had everything to do with the fact that we were not telling people, by the way,
if you'd like to help us,
we're not asking you to pay us or give us money to get the podcast. The podcast is always free. But if you'd like to support us, then by all means, go to OG-trianglemedia.com and it'll take you right there to one time or recurring and do your thing. So shout out to everybody who has stepped that up. We also need, speaking of all the Tecmo Bowl sounds, we've got some more people who have chimed in. They want to participate in the Tecmo Bowl tournament. February 4th.
Sunday, February 4th.
Shady's.
Downtown
Garner. $25 to get in. Cash prizes.
Not to get in the door, to play in the tournament. Well, you can always come see us.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
That's free.
That's a good point.
Come buy a beer. Come support Shady's. Come support the OG.
Speaking of supporting the OG, you can support the OG by buying t-shirts from breakingt.com/OG. I'm rocking the hoodie.
We had a really good Q4.
We did. Y'all really like the flag shirt,
and
hoodies and whatnot. So big shouts. We've got some new stuff cooking up. Now I have a shirt that I want to do.
I feel like you won't let me talk to Jamie. I feel like you cut me off.
No, I didn't. You want to set up a meeting with Jamie?
Potentially, because as one of my loyal Law of the Wolf listeners pointed out, I really want all of the quotes from the beginning of the Law of the Wolf intro on a shirt.
Okay.
Bot uses flow all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you
absolutely,
on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm with you on
That's
that.
a triple play.
I can do that. I've been cooking
Happy
up.
Thanksgiving.
I've been cooking up some shirt ideas. Now we have one ahead of the ACC tournament.
Okay.
What?
Ryan just distracted me.
Oh, that's right. Because the comments are live, so you're distracted now. What? Hold on. What's the matter?
Why did he have to do that?
What? Oh yeah. And Ryan makes thank you, Ryan. Ryan makes a really, really good point. Giglio, we have the smartest audience in sports. Also, Giglio, our audience can't find a link. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Because here's the thing. What's that, Lauren?
Mutually exclusive.
No.
People can be dumb about
No, Lauren. The whole point that I was making about the donation thing is that we just weren't telling people it existed. Once we've told people it exists, then it's all good. And yes, you are going to need headphones because we have a very special guest that we're not going to tell you about until that person is live. Yeah, so you'll need headphones for that. So anyway, to wrap up the point here, go to breakingt.com/OG. They got some new shirts that dropped today. Speaking of links, speaking of links,
got me on that one.
The Breaking T dropped the new Seth Jarvis t-shirt. If you go into our YouTube comment, our YouTube description or the podcast description, you'll see a link to Breaking T. That is a referral link, meaning that when you click on that link, it does take you to the Ovies and Giglio landing page, but you can then go to like the Canes page or a local team page and see their t-shirts. And if you buy a shirt off that referral link,
Helps us.
it helps us. So they just dropped the new Seth Jarvis shirt. So if you like that one, cool, go buy it. You want to buy our Bad for Ratings one? You can do that too.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I went to Breaking Tea today in
Yeah.
the hopes of that they had a Sebastian Aho Islanders shirt.
Yeah. They don't.
I want them to make one
They don't.
that says the real Sebastian Aho.
They also made,
They have a bunch of Aho shirts. That's why I bring that up.
remember when we talked about Jay Williams and how he said he would transfer to Carolina, right?
yeah.
Well, Breaking T was right on top of that.
They were.
I just like the way they play
Nice.
with UNC. Again, use the referral link and you can make that happen.
Lauren can't see, but she can hear.
She can hear.
Our special guest
All
is
right.
here.
So Lauren, you're here. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let's turn on your mic. You here?
I'm here.
Can you hear everything?
Yes, I'm freaking out now.
Don't freak out. Don't freak out. We're going to talk some hoops here and we're going to get into some other fun stuff.
Okay.
Joining us on the Heister Automotive. Oh, wait, we still have ads to do.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's
Shady's.
important.
I know. Shady's, Whitaker, and Hamer.
Yes.
Check 'em out.
WH.lawyer, just in case you get a stray reckless driving ticket in downtown Raleigh.
We also have our friends over at Mosquito Authority. So
Yep.
big thanks to them.
Hayes
Check them out.
Lancaster, bugsbite.com.
And we have our friends at Breezer who have a contest going on. You want some Canes tickets?
Free tickets.
Free tickets. Go to our OG Triangle Media Instagram page. Go look at the stories, the IG stories, and you can follow it to Breeze Through, and you can qualify for 4 tickets to a Carolina Hurricanes game. So big thanks to Breeze Through. You can also check them out on their social media channels, Breeze Through, and find out a way to do that. So now that we have all that out of the way, it's time to bring in our guest. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is Josh Pastner. Now
Oh, yay!
hanging out with Field of 68, our friends Rob Doster and Jeff Goodman and the crew. Josh, what's going on, man?
What's up, everybody? Great to be on with everybody, and I'm a little bit different capacity than we've talked in the past, but it's good to talk some hoops, especially in this time of the year.
So how are you kind of enjoying a season where you're just watching everybody and kind of doing this and talking about hoops in general these days?
Yeah, I've actually been pretty busy. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm working. So as you mentioned, I've done stuff with Field of 68. I do stuff with Peacock in studio every Tuesday with Big Ten basketball. I do studio with ESPN in studio, and then also calling games. I've called games for a lot of games for ACC Network, and then I've done some games for CBS Sports Network calling games. So it's been busy. I've enjoyed it. It's obviously a kind of a different side. You get to see some different things. You still got to be extremely prepared. There's a lot of work that goes in, just in my own mentality, you want to be as prepared as possible and all the notes and watching as much as you can. And just, with anybody in the media, I mean, there's a lot of preparation that takes. It's not an easy thing. However, the difference is when it's over, I'm going back to the hotel and going to sleep and getting a meal. And if you lose, I don't have that feeling. But on the other hand, if you win, you don't get that feeling either. You're just kind of neutral once the games are completed. So, it's allowed me to stay really involved. You know what, guys? It's allowed me to really take a great look on some things as my time as a head coach, as 14 years as a head coach. Things that I thought I've done well, things that I think, okay, I got to get better at. So if I get another opportunity as a head coach, I would be prepared even in a different venue. It's almost like taking a sabbatical, if that makes sense. You have a chance to breathe
A
you
gap
know,
year.
and just kind of gather yourself for a second. So
Yeah.
it's been good. I've really enjoyed it.
I always knew you were the smartest coach in the league, Coach, because you did the anti-ACC. You're like, I'm taking money from Peacock. I'm taking money from CBS.
There
I'm
you
taking
go.
money from ESPN. Don't
Love
limit
that.
yourself.
Yeah.
Don't
Love it.
limit
Well,
yourself.
I was fortunate. I was able to get, you know, and I'm not, I'm obviously not doing it for the monies on this, you know, right now. But what I would say is I got, you know, they're all non-exclusive. So I was able to go to different networks, and I was very fortunate that to get, you know, everyone allowed me to get good experience in a sense, and work for different producers, see how different things are done. And who knows, maybe one of them will say, hey man, he's good. We need to keep him and sign him for, and we don't want him to go anywhere, any other networks. We don't want to let him go back to coaching. And, you know, that'd be kind of cool too. But, you know, I've really just taken it a day at a time, and I have great respect. It's given me you know, look, I've always had great respect for the media, and I understand they have a tough job, you know, I fully understood that. But, you know, I also have a different side of it of understanding. I mean, there's a lot of preparation that goes involved. I mean, you just can't, and everyone here knows this, you just can't just show up. You know, you just can't show up to a game just like you wouldn't as a coach. You just can't show up and expect to be prepared, because you will be recognized as you were not prepared. And so there's still a lot of preparation. Like I said, the only difference, I mean, there's differences, but one of the main differences, when it's over, you're not carrying the win or loss with you.
Mm-hmm.
You were a soothsayer in 22.
Oh, that's right.
And you said the Heels were headed to the Final Four. We've talked about this. I openly mocked you at the time. I'm like, Coach, just because you lost to them doesn't mean they're headed to the Final Four, guy. They look good though. They kind of look. They're starting to look like a little bit of the vintage Heels here now. What is your impression of North Carolina and how they've kind of separated in the ACC?
You know what? Here's what I would say, and again, I'm not patting myself on the back, but I am gonna pat myself on the back. I did call it, and I also called Miami. I've called some other teams. I've been, you know, that's what I've done for a living. I've studied. I have a good feel about it. That doesn't mean I'm always right. I mean, I think in 1986 or 87 I was wrong. I can't remember the last time I was wrong in one of those years. But I have a good feel on that. And I thought that year Carolina was outstanding, and I thought people just were sleeping on them. And what I would tell you right now is I think Carolina is the best team in the ACC. I mean, as of today, and they're playing at a high level. And you know what, guys? It's interesting. It's funny in sports. It's almost like addition by subtraction, because they lose Caleb Love, and they're a better team. But Caleb Love's having an outstanding year with Arizona, and it's funny. He was planning to go to Michigan, and that would have changed Michigan's obviously, you know, season this year. So things didn't work out. He's at Arizona, so he's having a great year. Arizona's a team that can win the whole championship, the national championship. So it's worked out for all parties. But there's no doubt Carolina is right now, I think they're the favorite to win the ACC. I mean, I really do. And I think when you got guys like Baycott and Davis, and especially Baycott, the dependability, I don't know if people fully understand that when you can depend on a guy like that night in and night out, that he's going to get you a double-double basically, and he's going to clean the glass for you. You know, there's something to say about that. And they're good. I mean, they're really good. And I think now Duke, if you're asking me, I think Duke's got the most pros on of anyone in the ACC on their roster, but Carolina's obviously been the best. And I would tell you, two surprises. Clemson, who I start out like, you know, a house on fire, has taken a little bit of a back seat, which I'm surprised. I am surprised about that, because they are very talented and they've got a lot of good players. And they've got a stretch coming up now that's not going to be easy either. They've got a couple games coming up here that's on the road as well too. So it's going to be an interesting a couple games for them. And Florida State has come back. You know, they were kind of left for dead, and they're now just moving along and haven't had some great wins. So, you know, it's been interesting on that. And look, NC State had a great win the other day. I think Wake's been good. Obviously, they had a tough loss, and they maybe struggled early on, but they had that stretch there where they were like 9 and 10 in a row. And, you know, the league might not be where it's so power heavy, but I think it's pretty balanced. Look, I think Georgia Tech, Davis Sotomayor's done a really good job at Georgia Tech. They're a tough out. They've had some close games, and they've had some. They could have won a few more even. So, you're looking at Boston College and Notre Dame aren't gimmies. I mean, those are tough outs, and so it's going to be an interesting race down the road. How many teams getting the tournament though is going to be another deal. That's going to be another thing.
Yeah, I'm curious, Coach. I know you might want to get back into coaching, maybe you'll be a touch diplomatic with this answer. But when it comes to North Carolina, what kind of reputation did they have in terms of when you faced them in the last couple years? I mean, not before that, like in the last few seasons when they weren't necessarily the North Carolina we remember them as being. Were they a team that maybe your guys thought you could out-tough them a little bit, you could push them around a little bit, and they might back down?
Well, what I would tell you is, look, we actually had some good success against North Carolina when I was coaching, so
down there.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, definitely down there.
But what I would tell you is, with Coach, it's obviously when you're taking over Coach, with Coach Davis, it's a whole deal. So let me just say this. First of all, obviously with Coach Davis, I mean, his reputation in the industry, everyone loves him. Everyone talks about how nice of a person he is. And I don't care what anyone says, to go to the championship game, you're in the Final Four championship, and look, everybody,
it's hard.
It's hard. And
Exactly.
it doesn't say road to the conference championship. Everything's about road to the Final Four. That's what all the marketing is. And if you guys all remember, they were really on the outs of not getting the tournament. Then they had that great win at Virginia Tech on the road, which kind of got their season going. Secondly, he's probably, what he did against Duke to end Coach K's career on senior night there, on Coach K's last home game, and to end his career, I would assume bought him a decade worth of extensions, of a safety net. However,
in Georgia Tech dollars, yes, but not Tar Heel dollars.
At least for sure, though.
So I think now last year was a different deal, and I think a lot of people felt they had the chemistry was just bad.
Yeah.
I mean everyone talked about it. Like it looked like Coach Davis was miserable. Davis was miserable. It looked like the team was miserable. They were playing miserable. Now they had some wins because they're talented, but their chemistry was nowhere. They were not in sync. And obviously a lot of things have come out saying this guy and that guy were fighting and feuding over things off the court. I mean, look, I don't know what's all true and not true, but the bottom line is they looked like a miserable, unenjoyable group last year. Body language, how they played. And so this year, for whatever is the addition by subtraction, it's worked for Caleb Love and it's worked for North Carolina. And that's been the biggest difference right there.
Which means that the NCAA selection committee will take notice of this when they make the brackets, and we're going to get an early Arizona UNC matchup.
Alma mater now.
Well,
right?
You know what is interesting, guys, and you're right. And people always talk about they always say, we don't look at that. And look, these are human beings making these brackets.
Yeah, man.
This
it's
is how
TV. It's good TV.
Like if it's close at all, you have to imagine they would go, oh, look at what
this now they're not. Now these two teams, the way on their trajectory, they wouldn't meet till the second weekend. Obviously, it's not going to be the first. It's not going to be an early weekend. Now, let me also say this, that because people got to remember how everything is magnified with the NCAA tournament. And so like Carolina, who was, in that they went, 6 games to get to the championship and obviously lost to Kansas. It's like FAU last year, like Dusty May. I know how good of a coach Dusty May is. He's before he went to the Final Four last year. But what was amazing is they hit a shot at the buzzer to beat Middle Tennessee in the semifinals of their conference tournament. And they really should have lost to Memphis in the first round. Yep. And probably no one's talking about FAU, and no one fully understands he's a great coach. But that's what happens, is everything gets magnified. The making and breaking of careers of players can all happen literally in a 30-day window in the month of March.
Coach, in our new iteration, I'm in charge of selling things, and hearing you be a proponent for Dusty May makes me think we should have, just as you did on the weekly conference call, if I could sell a spot Josh Pastner sells Coach X for the Hall of Fame. Josh, the weekly check-in with Josh Pastner gives us a pick.
you know how many coaches I've put in the Hall of Fame or names on the
I know.
board?
It's amazing. But we have to change your powers of selling for the Hall of Fame for the ACC getting more than 3 teams in the NCAA.
Well, and here's what I would tell you. I think, look, the ACC, I think there's a lot of parity. I don't think it's top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how the selection committee is going to look when it's all said and done. But here's what I'm going to say. You looking around the Pac-12, the ACC, I mean, you still got to fill out the bracket. And so,
exactly.
One of Joe's favorites, Coach.
the Big Ten is going to have to. The Big Ten's maybe not having as many teams as they've had in the past going to be in. So you're right. The ACC needs to have more than 3. Needs to have more than 5. The ACC should get year in year out. No matter what, they somehow need to get 7, 8, 9 in. They should be where the Big Ten's been. That's where the ACC needs to be at year in year out. But what I would say is, the Pac-12, how many you taken? So here's what's going to happen. And of course, look, you still got a month and a half before all this happens. So there's a lot can happen, but there's going to be teams losing back and forth. Teams are going to eat each other up in conference play. It's going to be decided is the committee going to look at, okay, we're going to take team, 6, 7, and 8 from the power conference, or we're going to take team 3 and 4 from the non-power conference.
Yeah. And
that's what it's going to come down to. Or we're going to take, team 2 from another conference that might have great numbers, but, so it's going to be an interesting dynamic, because I think more than any year of any years in the past, there's never been this year where there's maybe as less teams in all the power conferences where you're saying as like on the wrong side of the bubble, right as today. And we're talking January, 18th, 19th, whatever it is. And so the 18th. So I think that's where you've got to look at that. It's a totally different deal as of today. Now, so a couple teams get hot, things can move. We all know how that is, but that's what makes the tournament. That's what's going to need to be, good. Yes. And I see there, you're right. So let me tell you this. I called the Clemson Boston College game on last Saturday. And I had so many people come up to me and says, Coach, the greatest thing we might have ever seen is when you were playing Clemson during the COVID year, you took off your face mask because you were mad at one of your players in front of Teddy Valentine. You took it off and you slammed it on the scores table and you ruined it. And they gave you a tech and you put it back on and it was indented. And I had more people from Clemson come up and tell me that. So yes, I agree. Somehow, some way, that thing should be in the Hall of Fame of the ACC.
I love it.
It's in the Go ACC Hall of Fame.
It's definitely the Go ACC Hall of Fame. Absolutely in the Go ACC Hall of
Fame. Now, let me ask you guys this. I'm going to reverse the questions to you now.
Okay.
I got 2 questions for you. I got 3 questions.
Don't forget you have the carpool.
Yeah,
I'll get there. I'll get there in a second. Let me get 3 questions to you. 1, you tell me, where do you see, how many teams do you see as of today in the tournament with the ACC?
No. Right off, I see. I see 4 or 5 right now. As of today, 5. It's about 4.
Okay, who are the 5? Who are the 5? Who's your 5?
I mean, North Carolina, Duke, NC State. I think Clemson's done enough early. Yep. I think Miami's done enough early.
Yeah.
The question is going to be Wake. Ultimately.
Well, Florida State.
Florida State's, but they also didn't they lose to Lipscomb?
They have some bad ones in the non-con.
They got some bad losses in the non-con.
They started out like 6-1, then they or 5-1 or 6-2, and they lost like 4 straight. But then they got going here.
Yeah, they was it 9 straight now? I think it is for Florida State. So I see 4 or 5 right now, and I think the issue is, and we talked to Wake Forest head coach Steve Forbes about this
in Colorado.
We talked to Steve Forbes about this, and the issue just happens to be that some conferences have understood how to game the numbers.
Yeah.
Then when you get into your conference play, those gamed numbers just help feed. And the Big 12 is the biggest culprit right now in terms of gaming those numbers early.
Some ACC teams are getting it, but
some are
not enough.
But look, for example, like Iowa State. And they're a good basketball team, but if you look at their non-conference schedule to start the year, they weren't playing anybody, but they were smashing teams by like 30, 35, 25. And their net numbers were skyrocketing.
Yeah.
Whereas some other teams, like what Coach Forbes was saying, had some good wins, some tough losses, and their net numbers were dropping. It's not, it's not supposed. They say running up the score is not supposed to be, but somehow, some way, the difference in the score matters.
Yeah, the math. Well, like last night I was at the North Carolina Louisville game, and North Carolina, I mean, clearly separating themselves from the rest of the ACC, and Louisville looks like they're a little bit better at this point in the year than they were earlier.
Last year. Where's that person the other day that was saying Louisville wasn't better than last year? Are they adding you today? No,
they're better today, but there was a conversation when they went through the sleepy time there in the second half, and before they got back defensively to being successful, you started to wonder, well, wait a minute, this is a Q4 game. And if they don't beat Louisville by enough at home, they might actually drop in the net because of this. Even though if you watch the game,
no, literally at the end of the
North
game,
Carolina is a dominant team.
People were saying they might because of it.
And every time, and you can ask any, Coach Forbes would tell you, he's exactly right. It's a lot of it is like the old what's it called? The not the net. What was it? RPI. The RPI. The old RPI. Well, the old RPI, you could for sure game that.
Yeah.
And I'm just moving to another room.
I was gonna say, I hear the kids.
Yeah, so I'm moving to I know that. But here's the thing. You could game the RPI. I remember Southern Miss with Larry Eustace, awesome coach. And what I would tell you is he in the RPI. They got in the year because we were in Conference USA, and what he did is he played these games like he played these teams, got a rotate.
Yeah,
it got the numbers. So Coach Forbes, you can still kind of game the system in a way, knowing how to do it. Now, every year, Dan Gavitt from the NC2A would come and talk to the coaches, and he would say the formula, no one knows how to do it. You got to be a math genius. But in the end, you've got to you got to win. You got to, depending on who you play, but you've obviously got to win by a great margin. So it's an interesting dynamic. So that's the issue, and that hurt Wake. A couple years ago, when Steve Forbes was coach of the year, that team should have got in the tournament, and they didn't get in. Just like Clemson last year, they didn't get in when they should have gotten in because of the numbers.
So West Durham, has chimed in and says it's time to wrap.
Why is Wes flashing the button?
First of all, I like the comment before Wes. The comment before Wes was outstanding.
Awesome.
There you go. That's by James Land. Yeah, tell James I really appreciate it. James,
you're telling him right now.
Thank you, James. I appreciate the great comment. And then Wes is a Hall of Famer too. Wes is a Hall of Famer. There's no doubt about that. He's one of the great ones. Okay, I got a second question for everybody.
That's right. We had two more questions.
Two more questions. Yeah. Did you agree with Florida State being left out of the football?
Football? No, they should have been in the college football playoff.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And once we got to the Orange Bowl situation and they got beat by Georgia, like that didn't matter.
No,
that did not.
They didn't play.
What I have liked Florida State to Mike Norvell to fire everybody up. You go out there, we're gonna beat Georgia, we're gonna claim our own national championship, we're gonna be disruptors. Us in Central Florida, we'll have a joint parade. I would have loved that. Loved that, but they should have.
Okay, third question, and I love Commissioner Phillips. Commissioner Phillips, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame of commissioners.
All right.
So I do. He's a good man. He's awesome. I love Commissioner Phillips.
Sure.
Yeah.
But no, and I really do. He's my guy. But I would ask you this: is the ACC going to survive? I mean, if Florida State tries to leave, and where do you foresee in the next few years? Do you guys foresee the ACC? Honestly, I really would like to know from your viewpoint. You've covered it for so long. Tell me, where do you foresee the ACC now that you got this lawsuit going on?
Yeah.
Expansion, where do you see the ACC? And I know everyone talks about ACC basketball, but everyone here knows football drives the bus. It's no longer basketball drives the bus. It's football.
In an ideal world, I would love it if the ACC went the way of the Big East when it comes to basketball, where you have a lot of like-minded schools all caring about the same thing. And that would be great. And, you could have environments like you get at Madison Square Garden for a tournament, right? But obviously, like you said, football's driving everything. I've been arguing for the longest time that 2030 is when it's all going to be wrapped up. But with Florida State's lawsuit, it might be sped up a little bit, and
that's not going to end well for anybody.
We
know that
it's gonna be wonderful for billable hours. I know that.
Yes. The lawyers win. Yes, correct.
So right now, Florida State and the ACC are engaging in a math problem, and it might speed up the exit. But the big question that I would have now is, with the NCAA understanding that this is all unsustainable, we might have some super conference, or, like what happened. What was the soccer league that wanted to do its own thing?
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
Super League.
And I wonder to myself, what's that going to look like? And what we think of conferences might not even exist. So the whole thing's all messed up. But man, I don't know, Josh. I thought I knew, but I don't know anymore, given the TV money and everything else.
I'll just say this, because as we know, we have to say as we get out of here on this, you got to come back, Coach.
Yeah, you do.
I would love to come back, and I would love to come back, and just like West Durham, call in. I'll take your questions.
Yeah,
we'll take your calls.
The people have spoken. The people have spoken.
I would love to be back with you guys. We can talk a lot. We can talk more in depth on ACC, and as things get going here, have me back. I would love to be able to talk more on what's shaking, especially as we get a little bit closer to tournament time, and I can even talk on some other conferences that I've seen. And
I love it.
And it's a real interesting dynamic.
Place.
We'll get pizza. Well, actually, you know what, Josh? If you actually work a game in the area, we will do the show from the pizza place.
Okay, I like it.
We'll make it happen.
I got to bring my own pineapples for you, like I did last time.
That's right.
It was
going to happen.
It was that pizza. Here's what I would say. If we had won that game, I still would be coaching. I think because of that pizza might have slowed me down mentally. It might have cost us the game and cost me my job. Because of the pizza that you did. I should not have eaten it. It was great pizza, and it probably slowed my thinking down 3.5 minutes. I remember our press break, we turned it over against NC State. What was I thinking? I was so mad at myself. When I look back, it cost me my job. The pizza.
Josh, man, we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy. Josh Pastner. One of a kind.
How did we just catch that stray?
It's fine. It's fine. We deserve it, because
you notice getting Josh Pastner fired, Giglio.
Yeah. I mean,
you cost him in his job.
Have we not referenced it to people when we've gifted people things?
We tried.
We tried. That's ultimately all that matters.
Funky. I liked it.
Oh, you didn't know about the remix?
No.
There's a remix of that one. We got that remix, Joe. We got that remix. Big thanks to Butcher's Market for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. Let me take Lauren out of the window here. We'll bring Lauren back here in a second. I just want to make sure I get the billboard up for our friends over at the Butcher's Market. Maybe we do the show from the Butcher's Market and we introduce Josh to the steak and cheese.
I need to text Kenneth. I'm on it.
We got to make that happen. I don't know. Maybe Josh loves it here, and you can contact Hometown Realty and find a house.
Get here. Yeah.
myhtr.com.
Hall of Fame. I'll tell you who's in the real estate Hall of Fame. Hometown Realty. Go to myhtr.com. Buy, sell, calculate.
Now, you want to talk about Hall of Fame? You know who makes Hall of Fame wings?
Oh, wings over.
Wings over.
Give me the sweet chili.
Check them out.
You like the hot lemon and pepper, but the sweet chili is definitely the answer.
I do enjoy that. All right, let's bring Brownlow back onto the YouTube here.
Oh, wait, we do have a little bit of breaking news. Got to make sure. The James Lancaster is my new favorite person, by the way.
Oh, they got the sandwiches now?
They've got sandwiches now. All right,
awesome.
Perfect. Thank you, James.
Oh, and a lot of people in the YouTube comments have been making reference to the OG bingo card, and we've probably hit bingo. One of our listeners, Jesse, sent us a bingo card.
Oh, yes.
And I put it on our Instagram page. I'm pulling it up right here.
Oh, so good.
And the bingo card, Lauren, you can't see this, so I'm just going to read them.
Okay.
And
I was going to say, do I need to pull it up on my phone?
Yeah, you're actually one of the squares. Brownlow guest appearance. So check.
Cool. I'm glad it's not something worse.
Play the hits.
Play the hits.
Giglio loves to say, play the hits. Gas station beers. Shout out to Breeze Through. The Giglio whistle laugh.
I do like that.
For a variety of reasons. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, yeah.
That's me.
You do say that a lot.
I do say that a lot.
Wow.
Giglio talks about playing football.
Oh, wow.
And as somebody pointed out in the YouTube comments yesterday, yeah, Joe was white knuckling through that anecdote from your football days. I was like, yeah, I was wondering where that was going. Technician / WFNZ mention. I should correct that. It should be a WKNC mention. Okay.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers. That should be the free square.
Aaron Rodgers should be this free square.
It should be Aaron Rodgers.
Let's
Pat
get out of here
McAfee.
on this. Let's
Yeah.
podcast. I can't see the list.
Yeah.
so.
It says, well, that's actually one of them. Let's get out of here on some Hey Joe questions. Steak and cheese, which we referenced. A Trip Tracy or Mike Maniscalco appearance. Yeah, that's true. A Star Wars mention, of course.
Yeah.
Giglio struggles with technology. We've had that
Oh,
already.
Did
But
Ken
you're
make
getting,
this?
you know what? You're getting so much better.
I
I'm really
know.
proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm just
Giglio mentions texting a coach, which, by the way, saw Roy yesterday. Gave him a
Did
fist
you?
bump.
Nice.
Told him we got to get you on soon. He kind of gave me the shoulder shrug, like, not
Nah,
really.
big guy.
He's like, good, but
No, not really.
No, thank you.
An Ovies trauma dump. Yeah.
We had that
Hey,
in
listen.
a home field ad.
When we might have another trauma dump with home
What's
field.
the
I don't
point
know.
of having a podcast if you can't trauma dump?
Exactly. Giglio applies icy hot. That's every show.
yeah. That is every show.
I miss a show for a youth hockey thing. Yeah, that's true.
that's a good
Giglio
one.
and Brownlow fight about Virginia.
Mm,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
that is a
Yeah.
good one.
Giglio talks about driving to Virginia to make a bet. Quick context here. Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here on this.
We got pandemic rules or COVID year, which is something
Yeah,
that you
Cam
keep.
loves it.
I'm not even going to bring up the Armando Baycott surpasses Ralph Sampson on the
Please
rebounds list because I
Please
know
don't.
you're going to be like, COVID year.
No,
It's
every,
COVID years.
honestly,
Played for
every
100
time
years.
they talk about any of these records, it's mildly upsetting
It
to
is.
me.
Good.
At least just because it's the totals, right?
Right.
So
it should
and-
be.
But I get it. I get it. You got to
Yeah.
mention it, and it's fine. It's not like he's not a really good player,
And-
but let's not.
Luke DeCock guest appearance. I mean, yeah, it's a weekly thing. And
Got
then
it.
Wolf Blood.
Good one.
And then Wolf,
Wolf
Blood,
Blood.
of course. Wolf Blood is there. We
Nice.
beer flavored beer, yes. And in the Instagram comments, somebody had said every time Joe forgets to close his email,
Oh, that one
And you
should
get-
be the center square.
and you get the email thing and things like that. So we did spend a good chunk of time talking ACC hoops with Josh Pastner. If you missed that, please, I'll put that whole thing on YouTube.
By all means.
By all means, go back and watch. There's so many Instagrammable moments from that conversation. I will be doing it into the weekend for sure.
I sometimes wonder if he's real.
Nah, he's
You know what I mean? Like, how is
You
a
know-
person like this a real person?
You know how
That's
much-
what I mean by that.
You know
Like,
how much I hated the weekly conference call.
No, he's
but
great.
for
Oh,
him to be on the
He's so
Hall of
good.
Fame soapbox every week was outstanding.
I just want him to follow me around and like hype me up.
Yeah.
You know,
You could do this. You could get that
you're
jacket
one of
on.
the
I
best
know
to ever do this. Like, keep up. Like, I love that. I love how like positive he is.
I know the zipper on your jacket's broken, but you could do this.
Lauren, you will get that fixed in the spring. I'm
so
going to.
the other bit of news is related to DJ Horn and the double bird that happened in the win against Wake Forest for NC State. The ACC released a statement yesterday afternoon. The Atlantic Coast Conference announced that it has issued a reprimand to
Okay.
NC State's DJ Horn following Tuesday night's Wake
I
Forest. and
hope
NC
he
State
had the
men's
same
basketball game.
response to the reprimand.
The reprimand was issued following the league office's review of the game and is based on Horn's involvement in an unsportsmanlike and inappropriate gesture at the end of the game. The league will have no further comment on this matter. I was talking to somebody from North Carolina last night, and I made a joke about the reprimand. And they were adamant about the fact that Horn should have been suspended a game
What?
or at least a half because you can't talk about respecting officials XYZ and then have a player give an official the
That
double
wasn't
bird.
to an official.
Oh, it was to an official, Lauren.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was totally to an
Oh, I
official.
thought it was to a Wake fan.
No, I thought look,
Or I thought, actually, you know what I thought? That it was like to this game in general, which I actually respected and was like, I totally understand this energy because this
Yeah.
game is taking years off my life.
so what I said in response to the lack of suspension, I'm like, yeah, I get it. I see what you're saying. You know, it shows a lack of respect. You
Fair
can't talk
enough.
about respecting officials and you're doing that.
I mean, it's just a
there has to be
reprimand, is what it is.
repercussions for this. And I said, I have a feeling that the ACC looked at the totality
You got to look
of
at
the
the thing
game.
in its full context, man.
and like, yeah, man, we had cranky officials. We had full on Dante clerks. I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
Right. That was that situation.
And it's
yeah.
like, you know what? Look, man, it's in a way that, not to go full dad mode here, your kid sometimes does some things they shouldn't do, right? And you can go about it a couple different ways. And sometimes I am a big believer in the first one's free. All right. First one's free. And I'm not going to get too much into the details of what I just had to do with my 15-year-old over an incident. Joe knows what I'm talking about. Lauren knows what I'm talking about. It's a real good one.
That was some parenting. Like that wasn't 101. That was like
that was
advanced.
Yeah.
School
Yeah.
class.
We were in graduate school class that one. But it wasn't a scorched earth. You're done. Ground. It was like, all right,
okay.
Let's have a conversation.
Let's talk about this.
Boom, boom, boom. Are we all on the same page here? Cool. If it happens again, well, then that's when things are going to get real. And I feel like, again, in the context of the game, and you don't like to see it, it's like, look, man, you shouldn't have done it. Don't do it again. Shout out to all the NC State fans, though, who are like, oh, the punishment will represent itself in a game when you might have like a Carl Hess type moment where, there's the kid who double bird an official. Well, you're not going to get the benefit of that in this game, and that's fine. If you want to believe that conspiracy, go
here's
ahead.
the thing. You might not, because guess what? Some of these guys are friendly, and if you piss one of them off, then sometimes they might, like maybe like for a game or two, but like,
Carl.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, like that's reality of life. That's not like a backroom dealing. That's just like things that happen in life.
I actually think Carl Hess is the last person to get a reprimand from the league.
Is he?
He is.
That's right, because the Virginia Duke situation from last year didn't end up in any sort of reprimand, right? Or any sort of public reprimand.
No.
A reprimand. That's so funny. It's reminds me of like a censure.
Oh, and one other,
it's just like, who cares?
And one other note.
I would
slap
not
someone on the butt in public.
I would not.
Whatever.
I would not have had a problem if they had suspended him for that reason, for a game.
Oh, neither would have I.
Because it's about officials.
We talked about this.
You think so? Yeah.
If they had done that.
Yes.
Now, I think from that angle, it is difficult to 100% prove that it was towards the official.
I mean,
particularly since it wasn't Jeffrey Anderson. Jeffrey Anderson was the official who controlled that game.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what reason does he have to give Trey Stott? Now, he might have been doing that. I'm not sitting here defending what he did.
Don't you ever give the bird to like nothing?
Yeah.
But, like I do that.
All
Me
the time.
too.
All the time.
Frequently. Like, F this. Like,
bro, yeah.
That was the energy I got from the gesture. It was just a big, heavy, like, nah.
I mean, I just gave the double bird to my car because I had to go replace 2 tires.
Well, that's
what happened with
your
somebody was Luke was telling me something wrong with the car. And I'm like, that's his brand new car.
No, I was an idiot. This is the troubles with downtown parking. No, look. Here's the troubles with downtown parking. I already had somebody back into my bumper. So I got that issue. And then on some of the streets, on some of the blocks, they've got the high curbs.
Yeah.
And in backing up,
popped.
I crunched the rim up on the curb.
You know, you have like 85 cameras in your car, right?
I get that.
Okay.
But I was not.
You weren't paying. You were rushing.
I was rushing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wasn't paying I wasn't paying enough attention.
Whatever your opinion, the two of you is of like whatever you think my greatest skill is.
Parallel parking.
My actual greatest skill is parallel parking.
That's where I missed my fit.
Yeah,
dude.
Well, maybe that's what it is.
No,
maybe I'm thinking.
It's actually the driving thing I'm by far the worst at. I just got into a space successfully today. It took me about 30,000. I was Austin Powers in like the thing going back and forth a million times. I hate it so much.
Women be driving, Low.
I'm gonna throw something.
That was
he had a
intended for
Tony
you to
Dungy
give me the
take
double
before,
bird.
by the way.
I don't want to be reprimanded. Or suspended. The horror. What if children are watching?
Oh my goodness.
Whatever would we do?
No, so I crunched the tire on the curb and it forced a weird bubble.
Oh geez.
I've been driving with it for like a couple
Super
weeks.
Sensitive too, because it's like this finely tuned thing.
Yeah. So I started getting this message like, oh, your tire pressure monitoring system is, go see the dealer. I'm like, okay.
Oh dear.
And then I took it to the dealer. Next thing you know, and you can't just get one tire.
No,
you can't just get one tire because the balance and the tread.
Yeah,
wait, what?
The force in the universe.
Well,
yeah,
the Civic's
got the balance in the universe.
I've never had that told to me.
And
if they did, I'd be like, I'm good. I'll take my chances. Thanks, bye.
Yeah, the Civic is 13 months old, but I've already put over 20,000 miles on it, thanks to hockey. And
wow.
Hey, look.
Wait, what did you just say?
Well, I
guess that's not that bad.
I've driven it to Detroit and back. I've driven it to Roanoke, Virginia. I've driven it. I'm going to drive it to Charleston. I've already put.
Is that car a year old or no?
It's 13 months old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 13 months old. So I put some miles on that bad boy. So I already put 20,000+ miles on it.
That's not that bad. I mean, you drive like 10 a year, probably 10 to 12 a year in a normal year.
Dude, hockey.
So add hockey on top of it.
Hockey has absolutely just put mileage on that vehicle. Because remember, the other car is a lease. So I have to be careful about that one. So I'm like, we're taking a Honda.
That makes more sense.
We're taking the Civic. Let's go. So at 20,000 miles, it was like, well, screw it. I'll just make sure I do 2. It's like, well, because you have to replace them every 30. I'm like, buddy, I'll see you in 90 days.
Yeah.
Like, does the deal for all 4 tires and the warranty count if I come back and get the other 2? They're like, yes. So free plug, Leith Honda. They always do a good job. Anyway, where were we?
We got to get out of here on this.
No,
it's Thursday.
No, we have
Here are
stuff
your
to
Hey
do.
Joe questions.
We have stuff to do. Oh, since Brownlow's here.
Oh, okay.
Since Brownlow's here, it's time for a Carolina Panthers coaching interview update.
Oh boy, what fresh hell awaits me now.
I don't have any mute.
I think my juices flow all the time.
I got you. I got. Wait. I got a good one for you.
Jesus Christ.
Lauren has her headphones on, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
She does.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. Bullshit.
What is that?
The kid in the back of the car.
Yeah,
Oh, I
you
haven't
never
seen
seen
that
that?
one, I
He's
don't
just
think.
randomly, yeah, he's just
I'll have to
randomly
show-
saying that stuff.
Alex is so into funny videos right now.
So our friend
Not
Mike
that
K, over at the Charlotte Observer, has an updated list on who the Carolina Panthers have talked to in terms of their head coaching search and their GM search. So they have interviewed the Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. Wes Durham was trying to talk up Dan Quinn to me for the for that job.
I don't want Lauren to
no.
throw things at me or get mad at me. I just keep trying to express that the Panthers are probably going to end up with a retread.
You've got
I hate
almost
it here.
certainly.
I just hate it here. I just hate it here.
Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris. That happened on Wednesday. Dolphins offensive coordinator Frank Smith. That was a virtual interview on Tuesday.
That has been Mike K's pick all along, by the way.
You've got Avero, the current defensive coordinator for the Panthers. He apparently interviewed last Thursday.
He interviewed for another job as well, didn't he?
Yeah, he interviewed with the Falcons and the Seahawks as well.
Yeah.
Again, I'm just reading from Mike K's list here. Panthers special teams coordinator Chris Tabor, who was the interim coach.
Chris Tabor.
You just gonna have to do
I'm
that
imagining
one.
that interview. I need like someone to make a parody version of that interview because I would have enjoyed it very much.
You know what was interesting about Tabor though is that
I like Tabor.
the Panthers have actually denied interview requests for him from other teams. Yeah,
because they want to keep him on.
They want to keep him on as special teams.
Okay.
Rams offensive coordinator Todd Monken. He's been a hot name for a while.
Ravens
offensive coordinator.
That one I don't hate as much.
Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald. He apparently interviewed last week.
What's up with all these? Why are all these defensive coordinators on here? Do we have a problem defensively? I'm so sorry. Is there a problem defensively with this football team, or would you might want to get a coach in there who knows what they're doing offensive? Why are they interviewing all of these defensive coordinators?
Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan, who has been the one that people have been pointing out to, because Ben Johnson, who is the belle of the ball, this coaching
from Chapel Hill, right, or from the state of North Carolina, went to Chapel.
That'd be of the ones I've heard, it's probably the one I'd be the happiest.
But Ben Johnson is very much tied to the Washington job. Okay, so they've got all eyes on him, and that's where they are.
What
you got Texans offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick, and you got Brian Johnson, offensive coordinator for the Eagles. That's an interview that's been requested. And there was one other one in here that I'd seen.
Lauren,
Dave Canales, who's the offensive coordinator for the Bucks.
Lauren, we can definitively answer though. It will not be Mike McCarthy.
Thank God. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I could be wrong. It might not be a Super Bowl winning coach, but Dan Quinn did get the Falcons to the Super Bowl.
Oh, sure. How did it end? I forgot.
Speaking of the Falcons,
I forgot.
Speaking of the Falcons,
was
you know who's getting a second interview with the Falcons?
Mr.
Bill
Belichick.
Bill Belichick.
Oh, I bet he hopes he gets it.
Well, why do you need a second one with Bill Belichick? Either you want him or not.
What?
Hey, Bill, I want to go over some things with you.
That's what threw me. I'm like, wait. You said second?
So was it your choice to draft Mac Jones or?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Better them than us.
Would you actually throw the ball to Kyle Pitts and Drake London? Oh,
yes.
That's who the Falcons should hire.
Do you know Kyle Pitts is on your football team? Yes. You do? Great. You're hired.
So you brought up the Mike McCarthy thing. And
Jerry.
I am confused by the possibility. Oh, and one other coaching note before we get into Mike McCarthy. Mike Tomlin is going to be back with the Steelers. He was, as he put it, in a much better mood to talk about his contract situation as he enters the last year of his contract. And he's confident that some sort of contract situation will work itself out. So that's kind of the news of the day with the coaching stuff. But yesterday we come to find out that Mike McCarthy's coming back to the Dallas Cowboys and in the final year of his contract. And my curiosity is why? And I know you were kind of joking with Lauren about, well, here's his regular season record and XYZ.
I know his
wins.
regular season record is
3
fine.
years in a row.
I understand that. I've watched him win. I've watched his teams win games almost completely in spite of him at times.
But everything is judged by what are your expectations. And the Dallas Cowboys, right down to Jerry Jones, the expectations have always been, I want to win a Super Bowl. That's all Jerry Jones ever talks about. I want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I want to win a Super Bowl. I can feel it. It's close. I can taste it.
In my blood.
I'm going to circumcise the mosquito. Okay.
I don't need to
So he says all these
hear
things.
that.
So if that's your expectation, you cannot
Jared Jones.
You cannot embarrass yourself again in crunch time like the Dallas Cowboys under Mike McCarthy continue to do.
Why not? That's what they've done for 30 years.
Well, see, here's the interesting question.
What has it stopped them
It's
from
fair.
being talked about as if that they are not doing that?
So here is
Nope.
my question to the two of you.
Okay.
Does if Jerry Jones wanted Bill Belichick, or if he wanted Jim Harbaugh, or, for the sake of the conversation, let's throw in Mike Vrabel, who many people feel is a very good head coach that just didn't work out in Tennessee. If Jerry Jones wanted those guys, do you think he could get them? Like, if Bill Belichick is trying to chase wins, another crack at the Super Bowl, would he not look at the situation in Dallas and go,
No,
that's the place for me?
I don't think that's a good marriage.
What's a better?
No, he's saying in terms of taking over a
let's-
team that could get him to the record and also
let's take
potentially
Jerry
matching
Jerry out of the
Brady.
equation.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
then, yeah,
Dallas would be a perfect spot.
absolutely.
And if Jerry's whole goal is, I want this Super Bowl so badly that, you know what, I see this marriage and I'm just going to get out of the way and I'm going to let Bill do the thing, or Harbaugh. What does Jerry care more about than anything else?
I think Jerry actually wants the credit.
Yes,
Bingo.
That's the
He's got a
thing.
little bit of
The
That's
fact
why
that
he hires yes man
Giglio.
coaches that are kind of mediocre,
Syndrome.
that he can boss around and then gets upset when they don't win enough.
Are you saying Jerry Jones is like you and that he wants I was right, Jerry?
he wants the Tariq kill.
but isn't but it wasn't. But isn't
It's
that
why when he hires great coaches, they don't last as long as they should because he chases them like they no.
But isn't that the whole Jimmy Johnson Ring of Honor thing, right?
Yeah.
It all came down to like, well, who gets credit for the Super Bowls?
Exactly.
And he was mad that Jimmy Johnson got credit for the Super Bowls. And there, I remember reading a long feature on Jerry Jones and how he was very adamant about this competitiveness with Robert Kraft, right? So Jerry was super hype about the fact that he got into the Hall of Fame before Robert Kraft, but Robert Kraft was like, cool that you're in the Hall of Fame, but look at these bad boys. Look at these, okay? And it crushed Jerry. But rather than going, okay, well, I want to match this. Like, does Robert Kraft go out of his way to try to take credit for the Super Bowls that have been won in New England? No, he just gets to party with Meek Mill and the Fanatics guy and live his life wearing the same outfit every day, the sneakers with the suit. So why can't Jerry get with the program on this, man?
Ego.
Because he has a little sheet that has Tyreek Hill with red letters? Is that why? Anyway.
I did add the exclamation points.
You did. You did do that. You did do that. Okay. Let's continue, shall we? It is time, but we're also working on Josh Pastner time. Okay. The show has been completely pushed back 20 minutes, Joe.
He had 3 questions at the
all
end.
right.
Lauren, do you
Okay.
need to go?
I mean, I guess at some point, yeah.
Okay, because we are getting close to wrapping things up. I just want to make sure that,
My parking, I've got like
all right,
10 minutes.
get out of here.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. I mean, I am right on.
No, that's fine. So it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Big thanks to Matt Davis, State Farm. You got the hat on today. Look at that.
It too. It's a
I
really
love it.
nice hat.
Big thanks to Matt for sponsoring Ovies and Giglio. Give him a call, 919-779-8277. Go to insuregarner.com, theoginsurance.com to find out more, and you can save. Speaking of saving money, head on over to homefieldapparel.com. Use the promo code OG23. Again, that's OG23, and you can save 15% off your order. A lot of great retro, vintage-inspired shirts for all your favorite ACC basketball squads. They got great bomber jackets that look slick. I know, as you mentioned, with the state bomber jackets that we've seen, that's been very, very cool. So again, go check out homefieldapparel.com. Use that promo code OG23. 23.
What's up next? What's up next?
And now the moment you've been waiting for.
Yes.
Let's get out of here on some Hey Joe questions. It's brought to you by Oakwood Pizza Box. It is Thursday. We are live thanks to Sleek Fleet, and Oakwood Pizza Box is open. So go check them out. You can order online at oakwoodpizzabox.com. I'm not going to bring it up because I got enough questions about this. Amazon has put in a bunch of money to get Diamond Sports, aka Bally Sports, aka that damn app that sometimes works for the Carolina Hurricanes, right? There seems to be some confusion as to what this is and what this isn't. So I'm going to try to make this really simple. Amazon is investing in the acquisition of Bally Sports, essentially to keep them afloat with an eye towards taking over a lot of this regional sports networks business to add to Amazon Prime Video. As we've mentioned, the Peacock, the great NFL Peacock experiment was a success. They had 23 million people watch a wild card game in primetime between the Chiefs and the Dolphins. So now everybody from the tech companies to the broadcast networks are going, oh, we see you're interested in paying for things if it's truly worth it for you. So you're probably wondering, well, wait a minute. I get the NFL. I get why NBC wants to put football games behind a paywall. I get why ESPN and the NFL would partner up and potentially start putting more stuff behind a paywall. What about the regional sports networks? I mean, this Sinclair, Diamond, Bally, they're bankrupt, right? That's how we got into this situation. Yes, but that was banked on a dying business on cable with the regional sports network. Don't forget that the way Major League Baseball makes all of its money is by having very popular baseball teams in incredibly large markets. New York, Boston, LA, Chicago, etc., right? So the interesting wrinkle here is that Amazon went after Bally, but Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred, the commissioner, went, I don't like this deal. If you want our digital rights, you have to negotiate with us directly. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. In the meantime, the NHL, the NBA, which is also part of this, and the Carolina Hurricanes are a part of this as well, it looks like, if I read this correctly, Amazon will make Bally Sports available through their Prime Video apps, but it won't be part of Amazon Prime. Like, you know how you watch Thursday Night Football?
Yeah.
It's part of your Prime package?
Yeah.
That's not how it's going to work with Bally. You still have to, they have these channels that you can literally add. Like, you want to add HBO, you want to add Showtime, you can do that with Bally. This is actually a good thing because one of the knocks for Bally is their back end isn't very good. You try to log in, it doesn't work, it kicks you out, it times out, etc. One thing Amazon knows how to do with AWS is get this stuff up and running. So you could see an improvement in quality, and we'll see if what ends up happening is that the regional sports network will actually just go the way of Amazon Prime in a couple of years. Because again, the NHL and the NBA's rights deals, they gave those up, and we're going to have a new negotiation going forward. So just something to keep in mind going forward. All right, let's go into the chat, shall we, to see what we got. See from Muzak Geek, the fact that it took this year to put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor speaks volumes. That is very, very true. As Lake points out, just look at the Barry Switzer hire. Exactly. That's definitely something that you have to keep in mind. A lot of people having comments on the DJ Horn thing. From Michael, let the coach handle it. Keep him out for the first half. We don't, we all done stupid crap. Exactly. And that was probably the thing that was most popping on the YouTube comment section. From Brand, HBO Max changed their name to just Max. Your move, Peacock. So what? P? No, I'm kidding. It would be funny if they just called it cock. As a Carolina fan, here's how I think the Horn thing should have gone. Carolina used to run sprints for behavior like that. I think Keith should tell Horn that they're both running sprints together for their individual actions leading to technicals. Then he should announce anyone that doesn't have a problem with this behavior should run with us. Then the entire team and the coaches should run sprints together, blah, 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 blah. Inspirational music swells, Disney logo. Then they can record it and play it on the Jumbotron during the next game. And Keats can say it's an apology. From Logan, sorry, not buying into any of the refs who call a basketball game in that way. is being one of the best refs in the country, referring to Mr. Heine's Anderson. Maybe one of the most experienced, but the way he handled that game was atrocious. The entire crew was bad. Why are we running cover for it? Everyone who watched that game saw it. So all those things in the YouTube comment section, by all means, leave comments there as well. One other note about the DJ Horn before we get out of here. I did want to clear one particular thing up. And that is a lot of the online reaction, which again, I have to follow my own advice and not get too wrapped up in online sentiment where places or people just want to argue. But there's a consistency that I've seen with DJ Horn in relation to, well, we know how you two would have handled this if it happened at UNC. And I think to myself, I think your displeasure with how certain UNC incidents were handled shouldn't be with us. They should actually be with your own university and how they go about these types of incidents. When Drake May went through some mundane trash talk with NC State, I was amused. You were amused. It's part of the rivalry.
It is the exact trash talk that I've always heard.
Who made Drake May apologize?
The AD.
Okay. When Courtney Bangart went on a Superfan podcast and she talked noise about NC State basketball and small gyms and blah, 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 you and I went, okay. And I think our ultimate sentiment was, cool, talk to talk. I think it helps raise the awareness. But I think if I remember correctly, you're like, maybe beat State before you truly talk trash.
Yes.
Which, and you called it too, like, now she's got some teams coming her way.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen Carolina women turn it around. And we've seen this back and forth now between the Wolfpack and the Tar Heels. Who made Courtney Bangart apologize?
The AD.
Okay. When Dave Doran said, oh, you know, they were pieces of shit over there, haven't beaten us in X amount of days, Mac Brown was the one who was apologizing to his own team. So the issue isn't with the media. The issue isn't with us. The issue isn't with State fans. The issue, if there is an issue, is if you're upset that Carolina players have found themselves openly apologizing for things that they've said, understand that those apologies have come from within the building. The call's coming from within the house. So don't be mad at the media. Don't be mad at us. If you're mad that your guys have to apologize for the mundane things, you know, talk to your school about like, hey guys, let them cook. Just let them cook. It's okay. Everybody moves on with their lives. Anyway, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Thanks to everybody who was hanging out. We got Timmy, Thursday Live. Thanks to Sleep Fleet. Exceeded expectations.
Exceeded. That's what we want.
Brownlow. We got Josh Pastner.
We need a Josh Pastner.
We got
Hall of Fame
RL. I'm
segment.
wearing a Breaking Tea OG shirt that matches his Ovies. It's comfy. I can vouch again. BreakingT.com/OG. Do that thing.
Stanza.
All right. We will see you Monday, and we will finally get another answer for the Bills and the Chiefs and Tyreek Hill.
Oh, no.
We'll see you then.